you are a community club. DCFC is a community-built club. And it will always
team is pitching a plan to revitalize a historic gem in our community, and it's a project that's driven by their passion for their sport.
State of disrepair right now. Concrete sort of crumbling a little bit. The bleachers.
Football club. We're at Keywood Stadium. This stadium was built in 1936. Simply put,
it's amazing to see just how far they have come. Years ago, they were playing over at Gas Tech, and now so many people.
The post and Stephon St. Louis is there to clear it.
Yeah, in the background, you know, they give us the 12th man. You know, it's awesome.
Games, fans to watch. We're happy to put on a show for all these guys that came out to see us play.
When we move, they move, and just communication is the biggest part.
It was great. I think we could have earned a shutout earlier against Sparta in the year.
Awesome. You know, the atmosphere is amazing.
Monday with the right foot. It's in the back of the net.
People know us now. People know what to expect. Now we gotta take it to another level.
Look, city till I die. Say hi to the bad fella. Hella smooth with the flow, so grab your umbrella. Yeah, we make it rain, bring the pain. Things are changing. Power rankings take a spanking, got them rearranging. They said Denis are all stars till we deboed all y'all. Ball of fist and brawl y'all. Yeah, we pissed off all y'all, and we thin but still winning. Grinning at the top, got up under head spinning, make that chin pop. Blue collar clocking in. They been mocking us for days till they step into the key, and they been leaving with a fade. Doubting us, but then they swayed. Say we pout, they throwing shade. You will never have what we have, time to get the blade. Cause we'll be cutting them up, yeah, we're shutting them up. We ain't bluffing, tell you something, better knuckle up. Y'all ain't nothing but chumps, we put in overtime. We'll be putting in work until it's closing time. City till I die, talking blood, sweat, and tears. City till I die, we've been building this for years. City till I die, this don't happen.
Hey everybody, Garrett here.
City till I die.
The following episode of Channel 451 Tunnel Talk was recorded Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, year of our Lord. If you're wondering any increase of banter between Adam and Jaime, Adam's Arsenal defeated Jaime's Real Madrid yesterday 3-0. So I don't know what type of mood either are going to be in. There's probably just going to be some shenanigans. As for Alan and Dennis, I have no idea. Who knows anything on that. In the meantime, I'm about to take Jam over to Phoenix to go cross your sea Arizona.
Yeah.
You got anything?
I don't know yet. I got nothing. I'm a mess.
Well, I was gonna say, what about the guy? What about to the guys?
The guys got this. Like, Phoenix fucking sucks. We got this all the way.
What about the guys recording the episode tonight?
Fuck you guys.
Strong words as always from Jam Jam. In the meantime, y'all be good to each other. We go onward, and yeah, God bless. See ya.
All right, so this is the 451 podcast.
Hello.
First recording of April. We took a couple weeks off because we were all sad after the Louisville weekend and the MASLW final. And we thought surely by the time we record next, it will have gotten better.
I don't subscribe to that. I don't want those loser Coopers thinking that they made us sad.
That's true. It had nothing to do with Louisville, actually. It was
all 73 of them that were in the supporter section, because the rest of them allegedly were there. They just like to go sit down.
I don't know. I was sitting right, like, kind of adjacent to the end, the supporters end, and it was pretty empty the whole way through. So.
Someone replied on I went on Reddit a couple days later to rustle some jimmies, and I came away happy. But somebody said, that's not indicative of how many supporters from the supporters group were there. It's just that in that section you have to stand, and some people like to go and grab a seat so they can be more comfortable. And I was like, what?
Like in someone else's seat?
Like, I guess they probably have some GA seats somewhere, or like they probably have empty seats,
Yeah.
I don't buy this for a second anyway. I don't buy this explanation.
It was not as
that's a flimsy excuse.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
In general, it wasn't very full, like relative to like what a nice day it was. Like,
yeah.
It was. I mean, I don't know. It was. I was expecting it to be more full.
I think there's been some playoff games there that didn't look too full either. So.
They announced 9,000, but the pictures from TV didn't, and the pictures that we got in our super secret Discord groups didn't look It didn't look like they were only missing 2 to 3,000 is what.
Right, because it's like 11 something capacity.
It's like 11 something expandable to 15, I think, for bigger games.
Yeah. It is a lovely stadium, but it was not full.
Yeah, I passed it a couple times on the way into Louisville. We're going there for a wedding in September, and I don't know if it was Rebecca or the bride asked in the last week or two, like, would you want to go see the stadium? And I was like, no.
They're arranging a private tour for you.
It's not like a historical stadium, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about Louisville in a second, I guess. Let's start with the MASLW team. Soul destroying end of the season. Against Chihuahua Savage, who actually
they lived up to their name.
Are from Mexico. They were savages.
Well, to us. And
to us anyway.
I think pretty much everybody they played this year.
Yeah, I mean they'd won all the games. I think they lost one.
They lost one, yeah.
I don't know what happened in that game.
Also, the one game they lost, the final result was 2-1, which is like an insane indoor score.
Yeah, that's impossible.
which just like tells you they must have been missing half their team or something. Like there had to be something going on.
They only had like 4 players or something.
But even so, Cincinnati or Louisville, whoever the fuck it was, could only muster up 2 goals against them.
So the final score, 16-3 in favor of 7. Did we give up 16 goals in the entire season, the rest of the season? I don't think we did.
I don't think so.
I
think it was 10 maybe. So yeah, I mean,
someone can look up the table maybe. But
it was 6-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah,
at the end of the first quarter. So it was one of those rare games when you watch it for like a minute and you realize this is going to be terribly bad.
So we were on the way home.
We're just gonna get our butts kicked.
We were on the way home from Louisville, and my kid was like, "Oh, can I watch the final?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll put it on." And it was like on the Bluetooth into the. So he was watching it on my phone. It was in the Bluetooth speaker on the car, so I was listening to it. And all of a sudden, it was like goal. I was like, "What is happening back there?" He's like, "They're getting killed." So yeah, I mean, shout out to the I can't remember his name, the guy who did the commentary on the game. Doing it bilingual commentary. What a legend.
Yeah, he was pretty good back and forth.
He was flying solo for most of it too, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a pretty good job on his part for a international audience, as it were.
The women's team conceded in the regular season 24 goals.
Okay.
And in the playoff weekend, they conceded 21 goals. Obviously, 16 of those coming in one game.
That's insane. So, Dennis, I think you unearthed that the Chihuahua team had several representatives on the Mexican national indoor team or something like that.
Yeah, again, I'll throw this to someone in Discord came up with this because I'm not that good of. Well, I can be that good of a sleuth. It's just usually for nefarious means. But someone threw it in the Discord that the Mexican women's national indoor team, so similar to the team that Gabby and Kayla got called up for on the American side, was made up last year of just Chihuahua players. Like every single player on this indoor national team was from the Chihuahuas. Now, I don't know if that means maybe that's why they play up here because there's no league down there. So I don't know. Maybe they're the only team, but it seemed to be kind of big. It kind of seemed to be pretty big news that they were all made up of this team. So effectively, yes, the women of Detroit City Football Club were playing the Mexican national indoor team in the final of the MASLW. So I would, two things from that. I would say no. There's no big shame in losing that game.
No, totally.
The women were down at least their starting goalkeeper. I don't know who else was unable to make the trip. But also the other takeaway for me from that was that technically our women of DCFC are still the best team in America. So, you know.
And America is what counts, right? Like,
Yeah, there's a little bit of if you listen to our esteemed leader, you know, that's what counts, and we can say we're definitely the best of the American teams that are in this competition.
100%.
You got to take the positivity where it
Their
comes.
story, and we're sticking to it.
Exactly. There wasn't much to cling to, but we're gonna hold on to that one. What do you guys think? So obviously Shriver didn't make the trip. Coach Danny Evans wasn't available either. Do you think if either of them had been there, it would have made a difference?
Maybe some, but I don't think it changes the result.
Yeah.
Because it was, you know, it took a little while for our side to even like get a sense of things, because it was just so the pace was so quick. And I mean, would we have had the defense better organized? Perhaps, but you know, it's hard to think that Gabby would have been saving 10 good scoring opportunities. I mean, it's possible. I mean, she's played lights out all season, so it would have helped.
Yeah, for sure.
But it wouldn't have changed the results.
Yeah, I thought Christian Williams actually made some decent saves early on.
Yeah,
but they had some like tricks up their sleeves. Like they had some free kick routines that I don't think we'd seen before. And
just technical skill on the ball was
push
off the charts.
The goalkeeper up as like a sixth attacker already in like the first quarter. Is like what? I mean, you like see that sometimes with like late in a game if a team's down one or something, but
yeah, their goalkeeper was involved all the time.
Yeah. What do we think? Like next year, do you think that the team like they run it back and we get like like the same kind of core of players back in the fold, or do you think they maybe try and branch out and recruit some new faces? Or
it seems to me that the indoor team is something that the women kind of came together and put together and figured out themselves before they even came to the club and said, hey, would this be something you guys would be interested in bankrolling, or however those talks go.
Yeah.
So I can't see why they wouldn't, like, you know, unless there are some key players who leave. I'm sure we can think of one who won't be around and probably won't be around for the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't play it again but I also don't see huge additions coming in, because it seems to be the players who are around
doing the recruiting and
and who are like around the area. Because it's not like you're gonna fly in on weekends to play this indoor league that you're not getting paid for, right? Like they're not.
I think one good thing is it seemed like this league was better organized, and there's a really good chance that we'll have a similar setup for next year, which that'll help with kind of knowing what we're getting into. One would hope that the overall quality in the league would improve, but that's, you know, it's not our business. But having done as well as they did, I think will keep people motivated, you know. So I'm sure everyone had a good time, you know. The given that this is made up of people like Dennis said in the area and available to play at this time, I think there's a good chance we'll see some or most of them back, and there'll be others who, you know, maybe some of the younger players who want to play, and so I that part of it, I think we're in good shape. I think one of the big questions is like, who from this batch of players are we going to see in the summer?
So Adam just joined us flaunting.
Oh my goodness.
Flaunting.
We don't talk about other leagues on this show anymore.
Flaunting his good fortune from yesterday. If you're listening,
I was surprised to see the Champions League was still going on. I thought they would just fold it up after City got knocked out.
Did something happen yesterday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Ireland's Declan Rice scored 2 bangers. Did you see him?
I did see that.
Heard about that on the internet.
Imagine never, and I don't want this to like overshadow our chat about the women because that feels icky. But imagine never scoring a free kick in your life and then banging those 2 out in the same game.
Kind of game. Oh my god.
It's insane.
I saw that someone say that, and it's like you.
Yeah, you seen it in the same WhatsApp group I'm in today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, that's where it was. I can't remember if it was like on Blue Sky or something, but yeah.
To swing it back to like the women's football talk, Arsenal ladies also beat Real Madrid 3-0, right? And it was very similar.
Yeah.
Similar. It was an English player scored 2 goals and a Spanish player scored the other goal. So nice little symmetry there for both of the Arsenal teams.
Not a good time to be Real Madrid.
Yeah, who would ever be a Real Madrid fan? I wonder.
Don't know.
I'm so sorry,
That's okay. You can't win it. You can't win it every year.
The consolation prize is that Arsenal has to go to the Bernabeu, which has been the crusher of dreams for many teams. So you can take that 3-0 in there, and that might not
There's
be what
no
you
way,
come up
though,
with.
right? There's no way.
Oh, we're gonna.
Never say never.
We will be sad once again at some point.
Adam preparing himself.
But for now, I am. I have to bask in Jaime's misery right now. So
yeah, you got it. Actually, I forgot about that dynamic. I thought you were just coming in to gloat, but like, there's a double.
Yeah, it's to gloat in my face, actually.
Yeah. To swing it back to the women for a moment.
Yes.
And how like the league did seem to be great this year. Like everything seemed to run well. Their website is phenomenal for like stats and whatnot. The one little criticism I have is that when they announced the first and second all league teams, they said they were going to also announce MVP and offensive MVP and goalkeeper of the season before the games kicked off that weekend. And I still cannot find an article telling me who those people ended up being. So I assume if they ended up being City players, actually it's probably stupid to assume this, that someone from the staff would have like made some sort of announcement or something.
Well, we know Kayla got the golden boot because they gave her a big trophy. So
it was a nice trophy, yeah.
Yeah.
So they didn't even announce that was one of the things that needed to be announced. They just said MVP, offensive player of the year, and goalkeeper of the year. Which I thought Gabby probably had a good shout at goalkeeper. I don't think Kayla would have won offensive player of the year. Well, maybe she would actually. They might have given.
Well, she was on the first team, so
they both were. Yeah, they
first
both
team.
were.
So I can't see naming somebody else goalkeeper of the year when the first team goalkeeper is Gabby. So
that's fair. Yeah, I was just thinking maybe Chihuahuas, but I didn't know. I don't know what Chihuahuas. Their goalkeeper seemed to be good at scoring goals. I don't know how she was at keeping out goals during that.
Well, I think if they really want the league to take off and like make that next step next year, like the main thing is to get Waza in. Like if we can get Waza, man.
So we can get our goal differential up to 150 like Chihuahuas.
Well, with that in mind, I mean, I'm kind of glad we didn't win the championship this year because, as far as I'm concerned, it's a championship with a big old asterisk next to it because Waza wasn't in it. So
it's not a real.
Waza, it didn't really happen if Waza's not included. So
yeah.
Wow, this is better spin than what I was trying to spin earlier.
Yeah, there's no legitimacy to this.
That's right.
This competition. Without the
no Waza, no party.
Kayla was third in the goals scored, so I wonder why she got a trophy.
One
of the Chihuahua players was top, and the same Chihuahua player had the most points. So I assumed she was going to get MVP of the league, and that they might give Kayla offensive player then.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple of girls ahead of her.
Yeah, we'll have to see what is actually written on the trophy because they didn't really,
Maybe
they didn't
it was
clearly
for-
announce
maybe it
it.
was
They
for
just
the
like gave her a
division.
trophy, and
Yeah, maybe
so it was kind of weird.
Maybe that was her offensive player of the year trophy then.
Yeah, it could be.
And maybe they just didn't put out a news thing. But that's my one criticism, was that we didn't get that one announcement at the end. And I tried to ask them on Twitter too, and they never responded. But that's probably because they don't see the replies anymore.
They knew all the shit you were talking about them. Like, we don't want to talk to that guy.
I wasn't about the league. I wasn't talking. I've been nothing but praiseworthy of this league.
Yeah, so
Except now.
it's just your reputation.
Yeah. Okay, that's more fair, I guess.
Well, big shout out to all the women players and staff. It was a great winter. If you got to any of the games, it was a good time. If you didn't get to the games, you missed out. Shame
I
on
didn't
you.
get to any. I still enjoyed this season immensely.
Well, yeah, out of towners excluded.
I know some people would call us sickos for being interested in it, and some people have for being interested in a, like a indoor Friday night league. But I don't know, it scratches that itch, in between like the NFL being done and like baseball coming back, and the outdoor season. It's just a weird little itch that it scratches. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Long may it last.
All right, I guess we'll talk about the men's team.
Do we have to?
We don't have to. We'll just, I don't know.
We played a few games. What's next?
All right, so we'll jump into it, right? Louisville, right off. They had our number start to finish, like they usually do. And actually, I responded to someone on Reddit asking, like, is this a rivalry? Like, I don't get why everybody seems to get so heated about it. And I responded saying it's not a rivalry yet because we haven't beaten them enough. Like, it's,
been pretty one-sided.
Yeah, it's pretty one-sided so far. So whenever we can start, tipping that scale the other way, that would be great. The Monterey game, I guess, was a game. I don't know how much playing there was. There was a lot of free kicks for both teams, and yeah, it was definitely will be one of the more forgettable ones when we're lifting the trophy at the end of the season.
Yes, I like where your head's at, Dennis.
It's not one of the ones I'll be looking back on with any sort of respect.
There's two games in a game. There's the game that you're watching, and then the game where you analyze it and you see like the technical aspects of it. The game we were watching was pretty bad. But surprisingly, looking at the stats, we did okay. We just didn't score. Well, neither did they. But I was surprised to see that like the FOTMOP stats were generally better than some of the other games. So I think it was really a case of two teams basically not wanting to lose, and both teams kind of doing what they need to do to prevent the other team from winning. And
they kind of canceled each other out.
Yeah, basically. And I kept on wondering at what point would we kick it into a higher gear, and it just never came. I thought the subs maybe could have been better in terms of when they were made, and maybe but it was a consistent starting lineup, so it wasn't any huge changes. Maury Donor came in as a starter, but because he had experience against Monterey being part of that squad. at one point. So
we changed the midfield though too, because Ruts and Williams came in for Polisi and Chapman. I don't know. I think that's an interesting question though. Like, do you guys think we know, or does Dikio know what our best 11 is, or what do you think is our best 11? Because it didn't seem like we'd seen it the last couple of weeks.
I don't think he knows yet. I think that's why we've seen so much, so much change so far within the starting 11. I will say this: I thought Ryan Williams looked really good in the starting 11 last Saturday. I thought he was one of the bright spots in that game. And because I agree with you, Alan, it seemed like it was a game that both teams were trying not to lose rather than trying to win. And I was totally expecting some type of bullshit goal towards the end of that game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That was going to, sink either side. I'm glad it didn't happen to City, but at the same time, it sucks we had to settle for that draw. But it also just seemed like both teams just wanted to get the hell out of there towards the end of that game. It was cold, it was weather was bad, and but yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't think that Danny knows who the best 11 are for this squad yet.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I think he's still feeling that out a little bit. I think that's why we also see him use. This game was the first game he didn't use all 5 subs. He used 4. But yeah, I think that's why we do see so many coming on. And I think it's hard for us to even,
like, you asked Jaime, like, if we, or what we think the best 11 is. It's honestly, it's hard for me to say what is our best 11, because we're seeing some of these players in little fits and starts and, like, 20-minute cameos, and it's hard to judge a player on that. I would agree with Adam that Ryan did play pretty well. I just think if you're playing Ryan in there, you need to mix up who his partner is in the middle. Like, I don't think you can play Ryan and Connor together, or maybe even Cedeno would need to, like, drop out if you're going to play Ryan there as the main kind of guy in the middle, because I don't know, you just need a bit more. You need someone with a bit more hold up ability, maybe, or like Connor's great at, like, chasing balls down and making a nuisance of himself, but, like, if you have Chapman or when Lay gets back, like Lay in there, I think that would suit having Ryan in there for that long more.
I think Williams is really good at, like, keeping the possession, but he doesn't really, like, drive the team forward as much.
Someone to be the little link up there, because Cedeno kind of runs it like from the center. He kind of runs the channels. Like, he's not really dropping back into midfield to pick the ball up. And I think our midfield, because of that, got, like, passed out a lot of the time, trying to make plays further up the line. But yeah, like, I know, like, some people were kind of miffed about this result, but, like, we have to remember too, Monterrey are second in the West. Like, they're not.
I mean, who had the higher expectations going into that game? It was probably Monterrey.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're not talking about Monterrey last year or the last few years. We're talking about Monterrey this year, who had won their last 3 games coming into that game.
Yeah.
So it's not as big a deal to me to draw it down.
And I don't think because they did play an Open Cup game against was the Burrito Stand on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I don't think that means so much anymore, having those midweek games, given the size of some of these rosters. I mean, especially with City. I mean City is dealing with, it seems like, their fair share of injury right now. It's speculative because we don't get a whole lot of injury report from the club, but the rumor right now is Carlos is hurt, Saldana is hurt, Matt Sheldon is hurt. Diouf was dealing with an injury heading into last week's game, but he ended up getting some playing time. Obviously, Lay is dealing with an injury right now. It just seems like all of these teams have so much depth right now that those midweek games those quick turnover games aren't as big of an issue anymore. So, but yeah, I would agree too. I think that I don't know if people realize that, like Dennis said, that yeah, Monterey Bay is a good team this year. Arguably one of the best teams in the entire USL Championship. So there's nothing wrong with drawing with them. I think it's just you're coming off. I think the biggest concern is you're coming off 2 games where again you're not scoring any goals, which has been a problem for City, forever now. It's their inability to, produce in that final third and then ultimately, score goals. So,
and not just that we didn't score, but like we didn't even make very good chances. Like I had it pulled up here. We had like,
for as much possession as they had, and for as many like corner kicks as they had, like it didn't really come to anything. And I think
we had 11 shots and 3 of them were on target. And I like sitting here right now without looking at a video, I couldn't tell you what the 3 on target were because I don't think any of them were very like dangerous shots. And like the inverse to that is like Monterey Bay had 25 clearances to our 12. So like we had the ball there.
I thought City looked really good for like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah,
the first 20 minutes of the game, I thought they looked really good. And this is another concern of mine too. It was those second half adjustments coming out of the half. They didn't look good. It seemed like that's when Monterey started to really put the foot on the gas and kind of make City play on their heels, chase around a little bit. And I thought that was another problem that, we've seen, a little bit too much of so far this season. And I don't want to get too down on them because it is only April still, but, and if this was a game being played in July or August, then, it would be more concerning, but.
Then Adam would be calling for Dikio's head, that's for sure.
And plus, it would suck if it was like 20 or 30 degrees in July and August too. So
also, yes,
something. Carlos Herrera gets on the team of the week, so
he deserved it.
I thought he played well. I saw some people complaining about it, how he played, and I was like, I didn't really see what people are talking about. So
I thought it was a really good recovery from I didn't think he was very good against Louisville.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think you're right, Alan.
I think he scares people a little bit, and there is a moment, I forget when in the game it was, that I can pick out that people are talking about in that situation is at one point he had the ball at his feet and someone steaming down on him quickly, and he just did like a little Cruyff turn, like a little back heel to himself the other way, and it was like,
hey, it worked.
Just wait till next Wednesday.
What are people worried about?
Right, yeah. So yeah, Wednesday will be fun. But yeah, I think like in that sense, I get where if people aren't used to that, because Nate didn't really do stuff like that,
right.
Nate usually just cleared his lines,
route one guy,
down on him. So if people aren't used, if people have never seen a soccer game in the last 2 years and they're not used to keepers playing ball, I could see why that would be kind of worrying to them, but. I thought you did a great job. So, a solid backup for our alleged injury woes.
So this weekend we're at Phoenix. Anyone going?
Jamie.
Shout out to Jam, making the pilgrimage.
Yes, there's a little group going. I don't know who else is in her group.
Yeah. So Phoenix. I was just looking casually. They've conceded 11 goals in 5 matches.
Yeah, they lost.
I don't know if that's like going to be maybe a helpful little they suck defensively, so maybe that will help remedy our own goal scoring woes.
They lost 3-1 to Monterey. So.
They did lose 3-1 to Monterey. Only 4 players left from their championship winning team in 2023. Let's see. Everyone give me one key to victory and a prediction.
keeping pace. I think they got a lot of pacey type of players on Phoenix. I don't think this is a particularly good Phoenix Rising team, though. I think they're very beatable, much like Loose City was. I don't think this is a great Loose City team, but we made them look great. I think this is a beatable team. I think that we win 2-1.
Good. Alan?
It seems like if our goal scorers could put the ball in the back of the net, we might be able to win. I think Red is channeling me right now. If we score more goals than them, we'll do pretty good. No, I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game. Given our the lack of goals on our end, but I watched the San Antonio Phoenix game, and I thought that Phoenix played okay, and they won that game, but it was kind of back and forth. So I think we would have to dominate them like early on. So I'm gonna say that it's I want to say 2-1 City, but that may be pure optimism. Why not? I'll say 2-1 City. I don't.
Right.
I'm not totally convinced.
All right, so that's two 2-1s. Dennis?
Yeah, I guess I gotta make fun of Alan for actually doing some research and watching like one of our opponents' games that we're not involved in.
This is high level scouting.
Hey, it was on big CBS, so it was easy to watch.
Yeah. You were one of the.
I was one of the 400 and some thousand people watching.
Yeah, what was Edward said that a regular season game for Phoenix is everybody else's championship because they like double the championship numbers. Very good banter. Very good banter. Also, look how far we've come. 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how good City have been at converting their chances and what their conversion rate was, and what a change 2 games without a goal makes. Yeah, I think key to the success will be not bypassing those midfield channels like we seem to have been the last couple of weeks. Letting the boys play.
I think we need Chapman back. Chapman and Polisi.
Yeah, I think they were making a good hash of everything. Wouldn't be a terrible time for Lay to be fit, but we'll see where we're at with that. Phoenix conceded a lot of free kicks to their 78 free kicks they've already conceded. So. And they've conceded the second most goals. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say this will be a 4-0 victory, Detroit City.
Wow, you stole my bit.
Oh my goodness.
This is not a bit. I fully believe this. I think City have been scorned the last 2 games and they're going to take it out on Phoenix. And I think each one of our forwards, there'll be like 3 of our forwards, whatever that mix is with the subs, will score, and then there'll probably be some janky own goal or Stevie Carroll will smash one in or something from.
Did you see that? In I think it was in the first half of Monterey Bay. There was that corner kick, and for 1 second, Stevie thought about trying a bicycle kick.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he pulled out. He was like, "No."
That was actually one of our better
him.
in the first half.
Yeah.
Ben ended up heading the ball straight at the keeper, and if he put it somewhere else, we probably would have scored.
Oh yeah.
But that was probably one of our. But I saw it because the replay then also flashed to CV, as if he was gonna do, as if that wouldn't have broken his back.
No, I know. he was wise to refrain, I think. All right. Alan, do you want to?
Hey! What's your prediction?
Oh, mine. Well, Dennis stole mine, so I'm gonna say I think
4-0 Phoenix.
I think if Villanueva has a good game, I think that Detroit City will have a good game. I think he was really good in the first few games and created a lot of danger.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit subdued in the last 2 weeks. But I'm going to go, I'll say 3-2 Detroit City.
It's not even close to my prediction.
I know. I had to change mine at the last second.
Oh, yeah.
Very off the cuff.
Go from 4-0 to 3-2.
Yeah, right? That's great.
Alan, do you want to... You had the little behind-the-scenes special secret stadium tour. You want to give us a few nuggets from...
Did you have to sign an NDA, though?
Oh.
No, so I'm sure
secret.
any information given to us was... he said, "There's no one from the press here, is there?" And like the six of us said, "No, none of us."
Alan pulled his fedora down.
My little notebook. Yeah, so lots of news coming out of away from the pitch, the playing pitch, regarding our new home, which we'll be hopefully seeing the next few years. Yeah, so there was an opportunity for some of us to tour the grounds of the new stadium and kind of get the inside story about the land acquisitions, the process of getting the stadium erected, some of the stuff that's going on in the neighborhoods around the stadium. It was very interesting. We got to go into the corned beef plant, which that building is remaining. That will not be torn down. They're going to use that as a multi-function venue, and it's there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But having heard more of the details, I came away pretty excited. That if we can get this all done, we're going to have a really good game day experience there. I guess one of the things that I found out that I didn't realize is that some of the property that's south of the railroad tracks, the club has not obtained. So there's two big parcels that don't belong to the club yet, or I don't know if they will or not. One half of that area, kind of between the tracks and the next side street. So half of that is most likely just going to be parking. It was interesting to find out that the city does require a certain amount of seats. I mean, a certain amount of parking slots per seat, per your attendance, expected attendance. So there's a bit of calculus involved, like making sure you have access to enough parking based on this formula that they have. So that's been one of the considerations in terms of the land use, was counting up parking spots. So that was interesting. And literally the next week, Crane's Detroit Business kind of unveiled another piece of this puzzle that isn't related to the club necessarily, but the plans for a new Amtrak station, an intermodal, bus/train station by Michigan Central, which is like 3 blocks from the new stadium site.
Yeah.
So, and how that's all going to develop. So, it's years down the road, but it's what was kind of behind the scenes is now more public. So you've got the stadium going up, you got the stuff around the stadium that's going to be built up. The current Detroit Public Works yard, which takes up a lot of that property around the stadium. that is eventually getting moved actually by the new jail site. And it's opening up all that property there for development. So you could have, whatever they come up with, housing probably, so, and then you have the stuff around Michigan Central, including a train station that will service the new Chicago to Toronto line. And then the bus station, which could like serve the whole city. So I think it's pretty exciting.
What were you saying, Dennis?
I thought Michigan Central was a train station.
Well, it was at one point. Hasn't been for
There's
40 years.
There's a dude I follow on Twitter who's like a transit advocate for Detroit, and he's having a really like fun time with this announcement that they're going to build a smaller train station transport hub beside the gigantic train station that they spent $100 million or whatever refurbishing, and he thinks it's like the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, well, it is kind of funny because the train tracks for that train station have always been used still.
Yeah,
it's just that the enormous train station was mothballed. And when I first moved to Detroit back in, my first stint in 1987, there was an Amtrak station there. It was in a trailer, like literally a double wide. It did not make a good impression. And that eventually got torn down too. They got rid of that, and so the station currently servicing Detroit is in New Center, and which is not that big and not that convenient. So it seems like everyone's on board for doing this. Amtrak wants it, Windsor wants it, Detroit wants it, the state wants it. Dennis wants it, which is really that was the critical piece that they were waiting for.
I was sending 2 emails a day about it.
Yeah, so the heat was on, and he got the results. The question is who's going to pay for it, and that's
not me.
That's all around all this stuff. So that's why I'm not popping the cork on the champagne bottle yet, because a lot can happen between now and 3 or 4 years from now. But the plans, and this is totally separate. This has been kind of its own track of development. The stadium has been on its own track of development. All the stuff in Corktown has been on its own track. But it's all coming together in a way that could be really good for Detroit City Football Club, but also the community. I mean, This is going to transform Corktown. Population density, ease of transit. You're going to have thousands of people coming in on a regular basis for sporting events at the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's going to be more like it was when Tiger Stadium was there. And that was a huge loss when that stadium left, and just like it's nothing.
Yeah. Seems like this is already further along than the District Detroit has ever been.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah, with less bullshit.
And I don't think that's not being hyperbolic or anything. I don't think. I'm excited for it. I think that it obviously this serves a bigger purpose than just what Ford has going at the old train station, Michigan Central, or what City's doing. Stadium wise, it's all coming together as this one giant project with more than one entity having its hand in it. It seems like there's multiple entities here. Looking to do something collective and bigger. Unlike the District Detroit, which was just Chris Ilitch, making a bunch of fancy, sketches, putting that out there, hoping to get, support, and then just basically pocketing that money that was given to them. So, I mean, yeah, it's exciting. But you didn't mention the most important detail of this, Alan. The koi fish.
I knew Adam would be all on board for this.
Oh my goodness! So the things you hear about when Sean Mann starts telling his stories, well, I don't think I'm violating any NDAs by going into this, but as you might imagine, the old hospital, the derelict hospital, which has been an eyesore in Southwest for decades. The lower level of that, the below ground level of that, is flooded. Well, I guess some local folks decided that would be a good place to drop off their spare fish, their koi fish, I guess better than flushing them down the toilet, I guess.
So they didn't want the fish, or they were trying to
we
start
can
a
only
native
imagine what
population?
the intent was. To set them free, like Little Willie or whatever that movie is. Big Willie or...
Little Willie. Free Willie, Alan. Come
Free
on
Willie. Okay.
Big Willie's a different movie.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that. So here comes Detroit City and trying to figure out what to do with this derelict hospital, and there are feral koi fish that are swimming around in this flooded basement of this hospital that's been closed for 40 years. But because the club are good community civic citizens, they have worked out an agreement with the aquarium, the Detroit Aquarium, that they will come and get the fish once they are apprehended.
Wow.
And bring them to whatever koi sanctuary they have. But I think it was kind of alarming when they saw these fish floating around there. I don't know how they discovered this. Maybe they sent scuba divers down. I don't know. But I imagine there's many other similar anecdotes about this whole project. But I'm sure it'll have its own segment in the book whenever that's written.
That is like the most city thing ever. Like,
yeah, it's like
koi
okay.
fish.
And by the way, you got to deal with the feral fish that are swimming around in there. Okay, we'll put it on the list.
Does that kind of mean that the new stadium needs to have like a koi fish pond?
Well,
somewhere
it's
in
part of
Or like
part of the legacy now.
A statue of a koi fish or something.
Well, I'm hoping that it has a koi fish pond, and it's like something that Sean Mann has to go to like every single morning to go feed them, like pulling, like
sprinkling in.
Yeah, like pulling up in his bathrobe, like forgetting to go feed the koi fish one morning, and like pulling up there, just go.
You seem to be more on board with this than I expected. I thought this was going to be another friendly situation.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, koi fish are cool. Friendly sucks. So.
That's the title of the episode.
That's right.
Koi fish are cool. Friendly sucks.
Give it 3-4 years until the koi fish get milkshake docked.
So we're not only are we building a stadium and serving the neighborhood at large, we're saving the fish.
Love
That's
it.
right.
Because that's the kind of club we are.
Greenpeace are the chosen charity for whenever the stadium opens.
That's right.
Should we end with a friendly little debate?
Oh yeah.
You got time for this?
Yeah.
All right. So this is Dennis's idea, actually.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
Throw me the bus once again.
No, it's good. It's good. So, Mackey's been hard at work these last, 17 years, I think. Pulling together going through the annals of Detroit City history, and so just in the last month or so, they've been putting out graphics, all-time top 10 players in appearances, all-time top 10. This is on the men's side, of course. Appearances, assists, and goals scored, and Dennis is kind of putting it all together, and he's like, do you realize that Connor Rutz is top 5 in all of those statistical categories? So, how did you phrase it, Dennis? Is Connor Rutz? You didn't say like the greatest player of all. He's not. You didn't frame it as like the GOAT. But is he the most significant or important player of all time?
He was significant. Is he the most significant player in DCFC history? And maybe it wasn't significant. I can't find that in a search. But yeah, it was something to do with maybe just the most important player in DCFC history. Because let me hit you with some stats here, right? So he's fourth in goals with 21, which is one behind Yazid. So you'd have to imagine by the end of his career, whenever that is, Connor should be at least third.
He'll probably be third after this year, right? You could imagine.
Yeah, you would imagine he'll nab a goal somewhere this season to put himself joint third. Now I don't think SCL Jean-Claude Lawson is going to be quaking in his boots at 43 that Connor's coming to get him, because Connor has been around for 6 years and he's on 21, so he's averaging 3 point something a year.
This is the Ovechkin, Ovechkin.
This is Connor playing until he's 40 until he can get 4 goals. Yeah. Then in assists, he's currently 5th with 11. He's 4 behind Maxi Rodriguez, who had 15 in his career here.
Never heard of him.
So you'd imagine by the end of Connor's career, because I think he still has a couple of years in his contract too. He could pass out Maxi and get up there on that chart too, which would put him Maxi's third. He could even get up to Danny Deacon, who's second at 19. I don't think, again, that Cyrus will be worried about Connor getting to 30, because as history dictates, he's probably averaging 2 a season-ish. But then the interesting one is appearances, right? So it's updated since they put out the numbers, because he's played 2 games since then.
Yeah.
He was or is now third in the appearances. With 144, which is he just overtook Maxi again. So he's a couple ahead of Maxi now. He will pass out Nate Steinwasser this season, who's on 151. So
he needs 7 or 8 to pass him.
8 to pass him, which he'll get this season. And then the number 1 appearances is obviously Stevie, who's still playing. He's on 203, so he's not worried yet. Connor would have to play another probably 2-3 full seasons after Stevie retires to get his place on top there. So in all the key metrics that the club saw fit to put out, Connor's there. He's third, 4th, and 5th, with a chance to move up in all of those categories with not too much more input from him, which begs the question: is Connor Rutz the most significant, important, whatever way you want to put it, player in the history of Detroit City FC? On the men's side, at least.
Well, maybe the most persistent.
But yeah, I guess you got to say then also he's done this under a couple of managers too. So obviously Danny came in and a lot of people saw that as their freedom from Rutzy, right? They probably thought Rutzy will be out on his ear or used a lot less. And I've always had this view of Connor that he's probably better used as a substitute. And it would be interesting to see how many of his appearances were substitute appearances versus starts, which I'm sure we probably could find out, but I forgot we were asking this question tonight. So, but yeah, it's not a question I'm going to answer right now. is he? But like, he's significant enough in the history of City to be asking this question about for sure. And yeah, it might be a fun one for people to mull over and.
Adam, have you computed Connor's WAR?
I have not. I have not computed Connor's WAR.
You're the only baseball guy among us.
Because I don't know if the stats from soccer exactly translate to the calculation of WAR. I do have a separate question though that kind of I don't want to say it goes in line with Dennis's question, but because that was a good question, Dennis, and I do think you brought up the notion too that that Connor has now seen multiple coaches at the USL Championship level, and he's remained on the squad through all of that. So it wasn't just Trevor James, having some type of soft spot for Connor and, keeping him in the lineup. It's Danny has him in the lineup as well. Connor deserves it too. Connor, I think is one of the hardest working players out there. It's obviously shown. I mean, it's shown in practice. Some ways shown in game as well. I do have another question though.
Okay.
If Maxi Rodriguez is so great, how come he hasn't overtaken, or how come he never did overtake Jean-Claude Lawson in goals when he's played in significantly more games than Jean-Claude Lawson?
And how many times did he play against New Amsterdam in the Nisa year? Like,
yeah,
he should have scored about 30 goals in just them 2 games or 4 games.
Well, they had a good goalkeeper though.
I think he's 8 behind. I think he's 8 behind Jean-Claude Lawson. And don't give me the argument that he's a midfielder and Jean-Claude Lawson was a striker.
Well,
don't give me that.
Maxi also took all the penalty kicks, so some people frown upon that. They think that maybe that
yeah
takes away if you don't score from open play.
Yeah,
Maxi sucks. So
hey,
that's
more ammo.
And this is a serious question too, because I know that there's people out there that may think that we're being biased or have sour grapes because Maxi isn't on the team anymore. But I genuinely want to know, if he's so great, how come he couldn't overtake Jean-Claude Lawson when he's played in significantly more games?
Yeah, 59 more games he's played.
Yes. I
will just add in here just to Adam's point that he isn't just being a hater because Maxi left or whatever, because he was hating like this as soon as the playoff game ended last season. So
yeah, Dennis was there.
Before we even knew he was leaving.
He get punched for it.
That's why he left.
Yeah, he was.
Didn't feel the love.
But yeah, speechless. He's speechless. He doesn't know. He doesn't know the answer.
No, I'd still probably say Carroll, even though he's not in the top 10. I think he's in the top 10 of goals. He's not in the top 10 of assists.
Yeah, he has like 15 goals because he's been playing for us for 10 freaking years.
But he's one of the few, him and Nate, I guess, were the 2 that came from NPSL all the way to USL. So he made one more, he bridged one more league, I think, than Connor did.
It would be an interesting talk to, like, we talked about doing a Mount Rushmore, and I forget if we actually did it last season. In the season, it's easy, right, to say, we're just including players, right? So no managers. Your Mount Rushmore is Nate, Stevie, Jean-Claude Lawson, and then it's like, who's your 4th? Like, you'll get into Cyrus obviously and players from the past like that, but with all those stats, like, you have to put Connor in the conversation.
Yeah, I think so.
And like, yeah, I just think, yeah, he's got some staying power. He's been compared obviously to Air Bud because he kind of looks like
The dog?
Yeah, a golden retriever. And
he's also the all-time leader in
Hey, we
bicycle
like
kick
dogs,
goals.
so that's not a diss.
yeah, it's not. I don't know why you seem to take that as a diss. Like, Air Bud is a beloved children's character.
Yeah, Adam.
Who is also Comet in Full House.
Yeah, see,
We're just the same dog.
It's the same dog.
What?
Blew Jaime's mind.
Breaking news.
I'm gonna have to watch this on YouTube so I can get that of the moment Jaime's mind blew.
I'm going to Wikipedia straight after this.
One more quick question.
Yeah.
If there's a penalty in Wednesday's Open Cup match, does Tatende take it?
Whether he's told he's taking it or not, I think
he's just gonna run. He's gonna run 90 yards down the field, grab the ball from whoever else thought he was gonna take it, and he's taking the penalty.
And does he do his flips after he scores?
Oh, like
well,
they'd have to
it goes
chalk it
without
off.
saying. Yeah, it goes without saying.
It's allowed.
The other thing I was just gonna say, I think we talked about this too in the group chat maybe, but on that assist leaders table, Antoine Openo is fourth on 12 assists in just one season.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
He went crazy that season.
That was a really underrated.
Oh, he was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, wish he could have just, played out his career, but yeah. That was unexpected too. I mean, it's like bringing in this veteran player. It's like, what are they going to do?
Some people thought he was washed when he came. So
yeah, for sure.
Probably Adam.
It was Adam. All right, I think that's it. Anyone got any shout outs or high fives that they want to distribute before we wrap?
No.
Yeah, I wanna give a shout out to the person at Speedway earlier today when I bought my licorice, my Twizzlers from there. Big shout out to them. I also want to give a shout out to Speedway in general too, because when you go and pump your gas, sometimes it might get a bad pump and it kind of the flow on it isn't all that great. It was a great flow earlier today.
Speedway, they're good people.
Yeah.
The rewards program is very generous.
Oh.
Very good rewards program. Yeah, another shout out to Speedway too for the rewards program too, because as soon as you sign up for it, you get 11 cents off your gas.
Oh.
So
in this economy.
Big shout out to Speedway for that one as well. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other shout outs here. Shout out to Zoom for making this a pretty seamless podcast tonight. So big shout out to them. Shout out to Apple AirPods here. They sound great. Shout out to Apple again because I'm streaming on my Mac right now. Shout out to them for that. I don't know why Dennis is saying no there. No. Now, does you guys have any shout outs?
I actually do have one shout out. Just wanna shout out the Chattanooga Red Wolves for taking down the team from MLS in the Open Cup last week.
Grassroots soccer wins.
Grassroots.
In a victory for non-corporate soccer bullshit.
And flag planting.
Shout out to Utah Bob for saving grassroots soccer in Chattanooga.
Cheer for carpetbagging. Better than teabagging.
Glad I didn't end it before you said that.
There's so many great titles for this episode. I don't know where to go.
The world, this is the world
mess.
Opportunities here for this one. So. Thanks for listening. Thanks for participating.
If anyone's still listening.
Nobody's still listening.
I'm not sure we're listening.
Except for my mom, so.
My mom.
Until next time.
Peace. Say hi to the bad guy.
Go Arsenal.
Peace.
Our flag fly, chin check, hashtag we came to sweep the leg. With all disrespect, the rules will bruise your head. 2012, the scene pop. We came to clean clocks. Your team is dream drop. We gave some mean knocks, stomping on the comp. Yeah, we chomping on the bit. Many came and went, but they ain't stopping none of it. Community built, community owned. Roasting foes coast to coast. Leave your hope postponed. Spirit of Detroit. Lemons the lemonade. Yemen and Bangladesh make a stronger.